I have some breaking news today on the Toyota MR2 replacement. Who would have thought that Toyota would be taking on the GT-R and NSX at this point? Also, the next Toyota 86 could be delayed, and Toyota is ditching dealerships in Japan. Well, sort of. Lexurious Fleet, welcome back. Thank you so much for 60,000 subscribers, and I'd love to get to 100,000 before the end of the year. Over 87% of you watching are not subscribed, so go ahead, hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you won't miss any breaking coverage on amazing developing stories like the midship sports car from Toyota. So the Japanese Scoop magazine and website Best Car has all sorts of information here on potentially the next MR2. Well, the MR2 replacement, I should say. And I'm blessed enough to have such a wonderful and helpful community that one of my viewers and his girlfriend have decided to help me translate as best as they could on this Japanese magazine. So on the front cover here, before we get into some of the words, I mean, look at this thing. This looks like a Lamborghini. It looks like a Huracan. It's definitely going to be a mid-engine car, right? Replacement of an MR2, or I should say, not a replacement, but a successor, more in a spiritual way. And this thing is going to take on the GT-R. It's going to take on the NSX. And they say on the cover here, Toyota Midship Sport Development Plan has been exposed / discovered. And they wrote some other notes on here, but that was the most important translation there on the title for this particular car. Next scan here, Toyota Mystery Midship Sport Plan. Now they're saying it's not going to be an MR2. They're going to call it something different, and they're going to start moving super midship plans. So they have this plan that they're following, and it's not going to be here anytime soon. You can see the engine here in the back, and I'm going to speculate on the engine and hybridization here in a little bit. Next image though, beautiful scan of this render and this engine here over on the right hand side. Now they didn't have a chance, my translators didn't really have a chance to start translating everything here. If I get some more information on all this fine print here, I will give it to you, but there's enough here in English that I can kind of give you my take on it. So they're saying aim to develop a $100,000 midship sports car, which is the same, I think, as a 10 million yen sports car, which is the Japanese currency. And if this Toyota badge was replaced with a Lamborghini badge, I don't think very many people would look twice. They'd be like, oh, that's a Lamborghini Huracan. That's what it looks like to me. Now the other Toyota cars here, we have the entry-level 86, we have the mid-level Supra, this would be the high-level MR2 replacement, and then at the very top this is the hypercar. So I think they're trying to cover every single segment. Right now Nissan and Honda have supercars. They have the GT-R, they have the NSX. Toyota's just like missing the entire game, which they don't need to really have a car in that segment, but for the reputation, important for their driving heritage. And all the videos I've been making recently on the GR series, they need to have a GR, MR, whatever. I don't know what they're gonna call it, because MR stands for midship run around and 2 stood for 2 people. So maybe they call it like the GR MT2 or something. I don't know what the T would stand for, but I'll see you guys in the comments on what you think it'd be called, but I think they would start with an M for midship and then replace the R instead of runabout or run around, and they're gonna keep the 2. That's what I think. Now you see this Lexus engine here. This is a picture of the V35A FTS, the twin turbo V6 we see in a Lexus LS500, and possibly in a ton of other upcoming Toyota products. And I'm going to jump into my spreadsheet here because this says 3 liter, and maybe I'm missing something in the translation because I can't translate it. I don't have the fine print translated yet. 3 liters, not 3.44 liters like the V35A engine. So it's a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, more compact. And before we get into the spreadsheet though, this bottom scan here tells us when they think it's going to become. Debut will be in fall or winter of 2025. So there you have it. Take it with a grain of salt. This is still a scoop site. We've been hearing a lot of murmurings, rumors on the MR2 replacement or slash successor for many years. So let's go ahead and get on over to my spreadsheet and what I think we could see for a high performance midship car from Toyota. Okay, so this is the same spreadsheet I've been using the last a couple of days for the GR Toyota rundown of the engines that I expect not only for the Toyota lineup, but for the Lexus lineup as well. Now, this added category here, the brown and the green, terrible colors, but I thought I don't have any brown and greens in the graph. So, but anyways, this engine, if it's going to be the 3-liter, it'd be called the V30A GTS or something similar, because it would just be a scaled down version of the V35A FTS. Now, I think they're really going to push the horsepower per liter pretty high on this. I'm thinking about 150 horsepower per liter, and that's just, of course, on the twin turbo V6 engine. I expect it to be highly electrified hybrid, just like the NSX is. But I don't know if they're going to have that same sort of layout where the NSX has the twin turbo V6 powering the rear wheels and it has electric motors powering the front. I could see, because of Toyota's hybrid systems currently right now, I could see the twin turbo V6 powering not only the back wheels, the front wheels as well, but that means they would have to have a drive shaft going through the middle of the car, which they could do, but that's going to add a little bit of weight to the system as well. But imagine a big electric motor in the back to power the rear wheels in conjunction with a big electric motor in the front to power the front wheels, and then you have the twin turbo V6 kind of in the middle of everything, adding power to all those systems where it's needed. However, they could also have a turbo, same engine, same hybrid system, except maybe with a little bit larger battery pack. Now, it's not like you're going to have two versions. It's going to be one or the other. They're just going to have it in one flavor. But if they have it as a plug-in hybrid, that means a little bit more electrification power coming out of that battery pack, so they could have up to 700 horsepower, somewhere around there. And that might be the way they go, because they don't want to match the NSX with its over 500 and some horsepower. It's almost 600 horsepower. I think they want to crush that and offer 700 horsepower from the twin turbo V6 and plug-in hybrid electrified setup. I don't know. We'll see, but that's just my guess. If I get more translations from the scans I have, guys, I'll definitely give it to you. And a lot of you post in the comments, because this has been kind of developing and it'll continue to develop because it's supposed to come out in 5 years from now. But a lot of you are like, you know, this MR2, this last one that we saw, was $25,000, roughly $25,000 entry price. But it's not an MR2, guys. It's not supposed to be a replacement. It's supposed to be a spiritual successor. And how I see it is Toyota wants to have their foot in every single sports car segment in the market. They entered in with the Subaru platform thing, the BRZ/Toyota 86. That's their entry level. And we have some news on that today. We'll get to that in a little bit. Next up is the Supra, kind of like the mid 50s, somewhere in 50 to 60,000 with some special editions getting up closer to the upper, let's say 80, 90,000. I could see if we're going to be getting that 500 horsepower from the BMW competition M series. At the top tier of those special edition Supras, we start running into the mid-engine supercar. This is going to be supercar. It is 0 to 60 with this electrification would be probably 2.5 seconds. And then they have the GR Super Sport or whatever. That's the hypercar. That's like going to be $1 million. No, it might be more. I think it might be like $3 million, because I remember it costing similar to the Lexus Yacht, which I would take the Lexus Yacht any day of the week over a very exclusive hypercar. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the comments on the MR2 developing news, and if I get more information on those scans, I'll definitely update you guys, probably in the comments or maybe in an additional video. Speaking of the Toyota 86 and Subaru BRZ, it looks like it's going to be delayed. The current production of the current BRZ 86 is ended. It's ended last month. The thing is we don't have an announcement of the next 86. We don't have an announcement of when it's going to be. Now, delayed doesn't really mean anything because it was never supposed to come at any specific time. A lot of people are thinking early 2021, and maybe it gets pushed back to summer of 2021. In front of this Japanese Scoop magazine, if you see right here the 2.4 liter, I still don't know if this is saying turbocharged or not, but I'm guessing that it's going to still continue the naturally aspirated engine. Just a little bit larger displacement, better torque because of the larger displacement, and better peak horsepower, but not by a whole lot. Moving forward, LG Chem leads EV battery market ahead of CATL and Panasonic. So LG Chem is now the leader in production. They're working with Honda now because of their affiliation with everyone's favorite team up, General Motors. LG's also working with Tesla, and they, from what I've heard, they're supplying all the Ioniq series from Hyundai and all the future Hyundai / Genesis and Kia EVs going forward. So yeah, they are potentially going to be the #1 EV battery maker here in the next few years. CATL, which Honda is working with, Tesla's working with, Toyota's working with, they're still right up there at the top. Now they're down a little bit this year, but the numbers that they were producing last year were very, very impressive. If you look, this is the graph here, CATL 17, I believe that's gigawatt hours of production batteries. Now, fast forward to the first 7 months of 2020, and they're down about 25% on their business, where you see LG's up almost two times the battery production of what they were a year ago. Over here on the far right is the entire market share of the battery in terms of percentages. This third one here is actually Panasonic. Now this is a Korean language graph, but this one here is Panasonic, and they're down quite heavily, 30%. Not quite as far down as BYD. BYD is another huge Chinese battery manufacturer, but they have been hit really, really hard with coronavirus here. This here is Samsung SDI. All the Korean battery makers or manufacturers are growing really heavily, almost double, almost 50% higher from last year. And if you look at SK, another Korean company, almost doubled as well. So they're ramping up production really, really fast there. And the rest of these to me look like Chinese battery manufacturers. And here in 2020, the total gigawatts produced is down about 17%, but look for this to really ramp up in the second half. Well, this is numbers reporting from the first half or so of 2020, but I really expect batteries to really ramp up here in the second half, and then I would expect 2021 to smash all the records that we had in 2019 for battery production. It's gonna be interesting. The next 10, 20 years is going to be this transition from ICE engines, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, electric cars, and whoever can produce the best batteries is going to win the game. So it's very interesting, and as these large battery companies grow, I could see them buying up the smaller factories, and there's a lot of startups as well. So very interesting. You can make a YouTube channel just on the developing battery technologies, production, factories, who they're teaming up with. It's very interesting. I like talking about it because it has huge implications for obviously the vehicles and the videos I make. So moving forward, Toyota launches used vehicle online store in Japan. What the heck? This sounds like a Carvana sort of service. It's possible to place orders anytime, 24 hours a day, 365 without the hassle of visiting a dealership or store. There should be an asterisk there because if we look down here, you can see the application method, how you get approved for buying a vehicle online. You know, it talks about the vehicle range, all the different types of vehicles, or at least the categories. There's over 200 listed vehicles from the original start date. They can't confirm the actual vehicle. There's probably just a placeholder image, so I think that's kind of interesting. Hopefully they're able to provide a V-spec or like a Monroney sheet where you can see all the specs of the car. And here you go, the vehicle delivery method. You know, here in America with Carvana and some of these other startups, they deliver to your door. I think, doesn't Carvana deliver to you? I think they do. I'm not an expert on them. But the delivery is at the contracted dealer. So you still have to go to the dealership. So this whole, you know, without the hassle of visiting a dealership or store, you still have to. You know, I was very surprised to see this headline and the original text here, because I'm like, Toyota cannot abandon its dealers. If they're gonna work behind, like totally cut out the dealers, then all hell will break loose in the entire automotive industry. But what they're doing is they just have an online inventory. They're gonna ship that car to the local dealer closest to that person. So the dealership is still gonna get a cut. I don't know what kind of cut that is going to produce, but they're going to sell that car online, ship it to the dealership. Dealership, let's say, gets 5%, or I don't even know, maybe more of that profit. But it'd just be interesting. Where does the salesman work in all this? Because there is no salesman. So they're cutting out a lot of the middleman, the dealership, and the dealership doesn't want salespeople because they have to pay salespeople. Dealerships want a way to not have salespeople, and all the money just go to management and to the owners of the dealership and the dealership company. Although it sucks for salespeople and a lot of the middlemen and the financing department, etc., because everything is all wrapped up online. It's just a better experience though for the customer in theory. in theory, it's a better experience for the customer because there's less steps, there's less people to work with. So very interesting. Now, Toyota does a lot of these testing programs with their like one-stop shop leasing, where everything's wrapped into one simple lease payment, including registration and insurance and, you know, vehicle protection. That is all starting over there. They also have a sort of lease program where it's really expensive, but you can get in and out of vehicles as you please. So yeah, they are definitely pushing the envelope. They're looking for better ways to run business. And, you know, with Carvana, with all these other car business models out there, Tesla being one of them, they are looking for ways to simplify while staying relevant and providing a good experience to the customer and keeping up with these modern times as things change really, really fast. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, definitely smash the like button. That helps me out with the YouTube recommendations. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, what the heck, guys? Throw me a bone here. Throw me a freaking bone. Subscribe, guys. I'm so excited that I'm at 60,000. I know I already talked about this, but I'm just so blessed. You guys rock. 100,000 is at the doorstep, and I can't wait to give you guys more and better content, more car reviews, more hands-on things, better news, etc. See you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and peace out.